test and feeling. So keep testing, keep trying things, and be really introspective on how it makes you feel when you do those activities. And if you start feeling huge emotion around what you're doing, you're probably striking gold at some point, and you got to just keep then figuring out how you can make that successful. Success leaves clues.
Yeah.
And so, find the person that's doing it or has done what you're trying to accomplish and follow the model, because success leaves clues. Welcome, Income Hackers. This is your host, Ryan G. Wright. This podcast is for individuals and families who are interested in fast-tracking their financial success. You'll hear experts discussing topics like generating a residual cash flow, building wealth through real estate, financial literacy, creating a family legacy, and overcoming your fears. If you get value out of this podcast, please subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. It's a big help to me. Everybody we bring on, when we ask them about their successes and their failures, it really comes down to these mindset shifts. Like I had this limiting belief. I may not have recognized there was a limiting belief there. Maybe it was from the way I was raised or culture, whatever the case is. And breaking through that, then the income hack started to happen. So give us just a little more background about you and how you maybe changed some of those limiting beliefs in your own self.
So I think your purpose comes from your pain. I think the thing that you are meant to be doing in your life comes from the deepest, most painful moment in your life. Your purpose then becomes to help other people not struggle and suffer as much as you did. And so I struggled so much as an entrepreneur that then I wanted to help other entrepreneurs not struggle and suffer as much as I did. Along the way, every major breakthrough that I've had personally have always led to business success. The problem is always your mindset. It's always a matter of believing in yourself more. I like to say that everybody has Michael Jordan level talent at something. You're a genius. Like everybody listening, you're a genius. You are the best in the world at something. You're the Michael Jordan of something, but you're not doing it. And a lot of people are walking around feeling like they have more potential. There's more inside them. Like this version of them is not the final. They know there's another level, but they don't know how to reach it. They don't know what to do to get there. And so a good chunk of what my content is all about is helping people believe in themselves more to chase down their goals.
How do I find my genius? If somebody's listening right now saying, hey, how do I find that inner genius that you talk about? I love how you articulate it. How do I find that?
What's your favorite food, Ryan?
Oh, I like almost everything, but let's just say we had some we had some carne asada last night, a carne asada salad.
I don't even know what that is. What is that?
It was awesome. It's a meat chopped up, and then it's got veggies and all kinds of stuff in there. It's I don't know, something my wife made together. It was amazing, by the way. Thank you, Hillary.
I love it. Okay, so if I'm coming over to your house, I'm having dinner with Ryan and Hillary. This is what I'm going to be fed. Awesome. Looking forward to it. How did you find out that was your favorite food?
I tried it. I took a chance and tried it a few times. My boys were worried about eating it last night. Like, oh no, I don't know. And then they took a few bites and loved it too.
That's the same process. You try it. You can't think your way through this. This is a matter of the heart. Like I already forgot the name of that food. Carne asada. Carne asada. Yeah. Right. Like you can't think your way through liking carne asada. You can't think your way through liking sushi. You might look at sushi and say, that sounds disgusting. That's raw fish with rice and seaweed. Really, you're going to eat that? But then you try it and it's like, I like it. Or you don't. But it's by trying. And so the trick is, as soon as you get an idea for something, to just go off and try it and see how it makes you feel. Because chances are the first time you do it, you're going to suck at it. It's not going to be great. You're not going to get a result. But did you like how it made you feel? Because if it did, then you need to go back and try it again and try it again and try it again. And eventually you'll get better at it. And that's how right? Most people aren't trying enough. Most people are thinking their way through things. Most people they might start a podcast because podcasting is the hot thing to do, but they have no love for it. Like if you don't love interviewing people and talking, don't start a podcast. Like it's not their.
You'll be pretty bored.
Right? You have to like it because you're going up against people who love doing it. And so there's no way you're going to win if it's just a strategy for you. The trick is you have to love it. And so how do you know if you love something? Well, you need to say yes. You need to explore, taste, test, try. Most people aren't doing that enough. They're sitting on their couch trying to figure out the next thing they should do. They're trying to wrap their head around it, but it's something you need to wrap your heart around first.
Test and feeling. So keep testing, keep trying things, and be really introspective on how it makes you feel when you do those activities. And if you start feeling huge emotion around what you're doing, you're probably striking gold at some point, and you got to just keep then figuring out how you can make that successful.
Just release yourself from the expectations of it having to be perfect and just give it a shot and see how it goes.
Success leaves clues.
Yeah.
And so, find the person that's doing it or has done what you're trying to accomplish and follow the model, because success leaves clues.
I think if you have no fear, you hate your life. I think if there's nothing in your calendar in the next month that you're afraid of, you don't like your life. I don't think people are meant to wake up and just photocopy the same day over and over and over and over again. You want to grow. You want variety, especially people listening to this show. You want to grow. You want to make more money. You want to try new things. You know you're capable of more. But every time you're doing something new, it's new. And so therefore it's scary. Because I think that's where your self-confidence comes from. Self-confidence, self-love, self-esteem, they come from doing difficult things.
If they're afraid of it, sometimes they're quick to give up on it and be like, oh, I don't want to try that. That's going to be too hard. We had one of my sons climb up a pole, strapped into this thing and this harness and climbing up. My other son was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. The reason he didn't want to do it is he was afraid he was going to fail and it wasn't going to happen. And this whole coaching moment of saying it's only a failure if you don't try. I see that in myself so many times of just being scared and having to overcome that. And this cycle you've talked about of, feeling the fear, moving forward, doing it anyway, seeing the result, making changes, this cycle that continues. So I love how you've articulated that so well, because I think that's such a key to life.
If I can add to that, I would
Please.
say if you can tie your self-esteem to the effort instead of the result, that's when you'll really start to grow. Because most people tie their self-esteem to the result, to winning. And if that's how you get your self-confidence from, your self-esteem, then you only do things that you have a pretty high chance of winning at. And thus you play small for life. If you tie your self-esteem to trying and you put your best effort out every day, then you're going to lose a lot in the eyes of society, but you're going to ultimately win way harder than anybody else. I think people pretend like they're doing well and they'll post on Instagram this picture or this little win they have, but inside they know I didn't give it my all. And that's the game that I want to change. So you do the pillow test. You ask yourself tonight, am I proud of the effort?
Anything else that you'd like to share, maybe on the spouse side of, getting on the same page financially or mindset? Any thoughts on that?
I think very often your spouse, people listening, is not doing the same thing you're doing. Your spouse is doing something else, has their own career. Maybe they're an entrepreneur, but they're doing something different than what you're doing. And especially if you're listening to Ryan, you can see me in the podcast, and you're on a growth path now. Your spouse may not, hopefully is supportive, but likely doesn't understand everything that you're doing, trying, and want to get into. I would, and this is a mistake that I made. I think that the greatest thing that I've done with my relationship is try to bring my wife into understanding what I'm going through and why it's so important. So I'm an introvert. I may not come out in this kind of setting, but I don't need to talk about problems. Maybe that's a guy thing too. When I'm struggling with something, I want to try to solve it and fix it. Talking to somebody about it does zero for me. No need. But then when I'm in crisis mode and trying to solve it, my wife doesn't understand what's going on and what's happening. She just sees me suffering, and then it's a disconnect. And so I need to force myself to include her in what's happening, to tell her when she says, how was your day? I have to, I'm not even thinking how my day was, but I force myself to include her in the conversation so that one, she knows what I'm up against and what I'm doing and what my growth path is. But then two, also when something happens, it's not, the business isn't the enemy, right? If somebody's trying to income hack now, they're trying to make their way up, and then something happens and their PayPal account gets shut down or their podcast gets deleted or something, and like you're freaking out and in crisis mode, chances are your spouse is only seeing, well, you're not with me, you're focused on your business, because they don't understand everything that you're going through. So what I want to try to create is, this is our thing. even though I'm the one doing the work, I want you emotionally invested into the work that I'm doing so that when there's a win, it's our win. And when there's a problem, it's our problem. Even if I'm the one who has to solve it, because when they feel emotionally connected to you, that's the juice of a relationship. As soon as there's no emotional connection, then the business and your growth path and all your income hacking becomes the enemy, especially at the beginning when it's not working.
Fantastic. Evan, we are out of time. I have thoroughly enjoyed speaking with you. So many takeaways that I've got. How can people reach you?
Wherever you are on social media, I'm probably there. YouTube's my big home, but Instagram, Twitter, all those places. If you want the books, you can go to Amazon. Pretty easy to find.
Fantastic. Any parting words before we sign off here?
How many episodes have you done of this show, Ryan?
We're on 20. So we're just growing.
I love it, dude. What I would say, final message is, if you're getting value from this, then go support Ryan and give a review on iTunes. Give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment. It's hard putting on a show, and Ryan has been nothing but professional. And for the video viewers, you see all the effort he's putting into having the setup and the logo and all of that work. A lot goes into it. And in the early days, that little bit of support, of sharing, of leaving a review actually makes a big difference. So if you're loving the message, if you leave a comment and a review, it'll help more people learn how to income hack and help Ryan's mission as well. So if you got any value from this, I'm sure Ryan and I would appreciate if you just go leave a review and help Ryan's mission grow.
Oh, thanks, Evan. I really appreciate it. And back to Evan, give him some love, guys. Pick up one of the copies of his book. Thanks so much for being with us, Evan. And bye for our listeners for now. We'll see you on the next one. If you got value out of our discussion today, please subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. It's a big help to me. Also, please share with a friend. Nothing is more valuable than creating financial friends who are like-minded. You can do that by inviting them to listen to the IncomeHacker Podcast. Bye for now, and make it a very profitable day.